All right, what's going on, people? So the question is, would I ever do a lease again, right? Lease purchase. And this is if I didn't have a truck. So the short answer is yes. But that comes with stipulations, man. And a lot of y'all don't be understanding that trucking is not a one size fit all type of industry. Some of y'all run whatever it is y'all run and just expect that if you're doing bad or if you're doing good, that everybody else is in the same boat as you, and that's not the case. So for me, if I was to lease again, it would have to be something similar to what I already went through. I'm not hopping in no lease where there's just too many expenses. And the reason I say that, if you're gonna put all the expenses on me, everything is on me, I might as well just go and do everything myself without y'all. Now, obviously, if you're doing a lease and you don't have any money, then obviously it's different, right? When I came into leasing, when I leased my first truck, I already had this truck sitting at home, paid for, just sitting in the driveway, in my driveway, just waiting for me to hop in it. Um, it's just certain things you have to know and do, and then it has to make sense. Now, with the way the market is right now, would I lease? I wouldn't lease doing dry van. Now, flatbed, yeah. Tankers, maybe, and then reefer, yeah. But when it comes to what the hell? But when it comes to like just regular dry van, non-hazmat dry van, I wouldn't do it just because of how just the rates are, man. Just being realistic towards you guys. But as far as like I said, like everything has to make sense. So like for example, when I went to Trans Am for those 3 weeks, and they was trying to push that lease on these drivers, they was upfront about everything. So I will give them that. They was upfront about it. Like, yo, this is what it's gonna be. They tell you straight up, we put y'all before the company drivers. Y'all look at the lows first. And if if a lot of the guys would have sat there and did the numbers, then I would have. Well, if they would have did the numbers and then had common sense on top, then maybe they would not have leased. But the one thing that really ends lease drivers is wanting to pay off the truck that they're leasing. Now, are there drivers that have done a lease purchase and paid the trucks off? Yes, but they were in a decent lease, you know. But when a company tells you like, yeah, you're gonna be paying like 1,300 a week plus, you know, you gotta pay all these expenses plus cover fuel, and then you're running. I'm trying to remember what the percentage is. It wasn't even a percentage. You were getting paid mileage, which just don't make sense to me. I would never do a lease. I would never do a lease purchase on mileage pay. That just don't make sense to me because you're capped. You're gonna be capped. I'd rather get paid percentage, and then you're running per load and not how many miles you run. Because transitioning from a company driver to a lease purchase driver, most company drivers are getting paid mileage. So when you switch over to that lease, you still have that company driver mentality of I need to get as many miles as I can so I can get on, what I'm saying, so I can make the most amount of money. But even in a lease purchase, man, let's say for example, if you're making $2 a mile, and I haven't even heard of any lease purchase drivers that makes that, but if you do 3,000 miles a week, you done made $6,000. That's your cap. You know what I'm saying? If you do 3,500, 33, whatever, you're capped at however many miles you can run. And then after that, mind you, the more miles you run, you're gonna spend more fuel, and then you have your expenses on top of that. So yeah, I wouldn't do that. But as far as lease purchase, it would have to be as the expenses for that lease have to be as minimal as possible. Meaning, pretty much, truck note. That's it. You should have to pay a truck note and some type of insurance, but not the shit they be trying to make you pay. Like the insurance they be making you pay is like pretty much the amount it will cost to get your own authority. So yeah, I wouldn't do that. But I mean, if I'm gonna do a lease purchase, I want to pay a truck note, and then I don't want no long ass lease. Me personally, I when I did my lease, I looked at that lease as a rental. That truck is a rental. I never had any plans of owning that truck because I just couldn't see myself running OTR. for 4 years for somebody. I'm sorry, I couldn't see it. And the extent that I did pay that truck off, that truck would have had right at 1 million miles with how I was running that truck. Was not going to be a truck that I would want to own at that point, unless certain stipulations were done. The cancer was deleted, truck was tuned, and all that good stuff. But even then, I already had this truck. But if I didn't have this truck, if I was to do a lease purchase, I would literally, me personally, I would possibly lease a truck for the first year, stack my money, get my credit right, and then just go buy me a truck somewhere else. Now, me, for you guys that know, I don't really like making payments to anybody. I don't want to make payments to anybody. So, I would pretty much go similar, the same route that I'm on now, which is pretty much stack my money, buy a cash truck, and then, make the switch once the cash truck, I feel the cash truck is ready to hit the road. Now, in the event that I was like, other drivers that they don't care if they have to pay a truck note or not, they just want a newer truck. They feel it may be more dependable or more comfortable. I will say a newer truck, in my opinion, may be more comfortable than my 99. But I mean, as far as dependable, man, I haven't really had any major issues with my truck since I've owned it. Granted, I did overhaul the engine. I have yet to been left on side of the road with something that I couldn't fix myself. That's why I do like this truck. I like this engine. I just like the whole setup of the classic, just with the popping the hood, and I can literally see the back of my engine from just popping the hood. So yeah. Now in the event that I wanted to own a newer truck, then yeah, I would run that first year, stack my money, get my credit right, and then I would go ahead and then find some place that could let me put a decent amount down and run a truck. Now, if I was gonna make payments on a truck, possibly I don't think I would get a truck that cost any more than like 50K. Now, maybe that wouldn't work like a year ago because of just how the market was, but at that time with them high ass rates, it wouldn't make any sense to finance a truck with them high price trucks. In my opinion, that just is not a smart thing to do. As far as any other truck though, like I said, I would have been around $50,000. I would have possibly put down, 10 to 15,000 to where I only had. So then, instead of paying 50,000, I technically owe them 35. Is that right? Yeah, 35. But then, once you pay the interest and all that crap, finance charges, I mean, you damn near back at 50K anyways. So that's the way I would do it. Um, if you are doing a lease purchase or you're a company driver and you're thinking about doing a lease purchase, like I said, man, you need to be saving money as a company driver. If you can't save money as a company driver, something's really going on. Either you're at a shitty company or your expenses at home are just too high. Um, like I said, you got to save money as a company driver. I would not jump into a lease purchase with no money in the bank. Like, if you got less than $1,000 and you want to hop into a lease, I probably wouldn't do it just because a lot of times you hop in these leases, you're getting a used truck and they're expecting you to be able to maintain it, even though most companies that offer the lease, what I'm saying, if something happens, a tire, you have a blowout, you have a breakdown or whatever, they'll cover it and then they'll take it out of your settlement. And a lot of times, just depending on how big the payment is, I mean, if it's like $1,000 or less, they might want to take that out in one lump sum compared to if you got like a $4,000 bill, then yeah, they may break it up in a couple payments for you. But mind you, you got to know what you're signing. You got to know what you're getting into when you sign on the dotted line. Um, so like I said, if you're, would I do a lease again? I would. Wouldn't be long term. It would be flatbed with the rates that's going on right now. Definitely get paid on percentage. Um, but things that you should do before you become a lease driver or while you're in that lease truck, man, you need to be saving your money. You need to be getting your credit right. And if you can, get rid of some personal expenses at home. Now, I get some people it's just bougie. They need that two-story, four-bedroom house with a three-car garage, and they got to pay the 15, 18, or $2,000 a month because that's how they want to live. I get that. I understand it. Not knocking you for it, but you got to be prepared for the worst. because when I was in my lease truck, I was out of work for 5 weeks with my truck sitting at Freightliner. So mind you, in them 5 weeks, I still had to pay truck payment, insurance, and I still had to pay the bill from the truck being in the dealership, and then I still had to pay all my personal bills. So I was prepared for stuff like that. Um, that truck was in the shop for 5 weeks at Freightliner. So that's five truck payments, insurance, other expenses, plus I had over a $7,000 bill that I had to pay for that truck being over there for 5 weeks. And then the problem with what I had was they couldn't really figure out the problem or the issue that I was having with that truck. So what they were doing technically was just throwing parts at the truck and then just charging me for it. That's pretty much what happened. So once again, man, I'm gonna go ahead and end this video. But would I do a lease again? Answer is yeah, I would do a lease purchase again. Like I said, if I didn't have a truck, I would do a lease for 1 year, stack as much money as I can. In the process of stacking that money, I would be working on my credit and saving money, man. That's pretty much where I would be at. And I don't really know what lease drivers are making now, but I would say if you're in the lease truck, man, you should be making no less than, let's say, 2,500 a week. And if you can save, so if you're making 2,500 a week, and this is after expenses including fuel, if you can save at least $1,000 a week, and you do that for 4 months, so that's $4,000 a month, or whatever you feel to be reasonable. Things will probably be a lot better for you at the end of that 12th month. Because let's say, for example, 4 times 12 is what? That's $48,000 if I'm not mistaken. $1,000, $52,000 because it's 52 weeks in a year, excuse me. But realistically, that's not gonna happen. I don't see anybody saving $1,000 a week every week like clockwork for a whole year. But let's say, for example, if you can save $1,000 a week or try to, because the truck is going to break down. You're going to have some type of issue, whether it's a blowout. You got to pay for PMs. You got to, stuff is going to happen. A air leak, a brake chamber, a shock, or something. You're going to have to pay to get fixed. So if you can save, let's say in a year, if you can save $25,000, and that's at least for running a whole year, um, that'll give you a head start on what you should be doing the following year. Now, like I said, a year is what I would do. I mean, you can lease a truck for 2 or 3 years. I mean, that's up to you. That's your choice. If you don't have any family at home, I mean, hey, you can lease a truck and pay the motherfucker off if they give you a brand new one. At least that's what I would do. If I didn't have kids, I would have went to Prime like everybody else at the time when I was wanting to get in trucking, and you know, hopped in a brand new. I would have spec a brand new, probably Peterbilt 579 ultra, not ultra loft. The mid roof. I probably would have spec one of those, and did did the 4 to 5 years, pay that thing off and call it a day, man. That's what I would have did. Now would I do something like that? I don't see that happening because I'm at a point now where I couldn't see myself going back and doing the lease as of now because I own trucks. But if I didn't, then yeah, I would. But with what I have now, let's say my backup plan would be to hop in any one of my other trucks. And let's say, for example, if all three of my trucks go down and I just can't make nothing shake or whatever, then I would just go to I would either, well, it just all depends. I would either buy another cash truck and try it again, or that's when I would probably go to a bank, not a bank. That's when I would probably go to a dealership and then put some money down on the truck, and just hope and pray for the best. So to answer the question once again, would I lease? Yes, but if I was going to lease, I need to be getting paid a percentage. I would be leasing, doing flatbed, and I would have no intentions of trying to pay the truck off. That's just me. Like I said, you can do whatever you want to do. If it works for you, hey, go for it. Market is pretty shitty right now, so you got to be mindful of that. Like I said, everybody knows containers and vans is pretty much, bottom of the totem pole. Unless you get with somebody that got some dedicated freight and maybe it's a little bit better. Hey, I don't know. But anyways, guys, I'm up out of here. Any questions or concerns, drop it in the comment section below. If you want to get in contact with me, send me an email at truckingwithbigdaddy@gmail.com. Subscribe to the channel, like the video, and I'll catch y'all in the next one.